Your daughter's breast-stroked my length, and I don't mean the swimming pool. I'm Harley Neville. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast.
And I'm Guy Pigden, and that was barely a lyric.
That was Mr. Traumatic. Obviously only one rhyme in there. I didn't take it was all out of context, but I just liked his wordplay there. Breaststroked, swimming pools. I get it.
So her breast touched his penis?
I guess so. I guess that is what he is suggesting. His lyrics are pretty out there. Mr. Traumatic, go check him out. He's an English rapper, who does it over like all you fucking drum and bass people or whatever will kill me, but like it all sounds like whatever, like techno music, drum and bassy, whatever he does. Yeah, drum and bass, I think.
House.
Anyway, yeah, like he raps over that, and he's funny as fuck, but brutal. Anyway, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. It's been a while. How long has it been?
Nearly 1 month.
Oh, that's long. That's longer.
6 days off a month.
That's longer than I thought.
We do apologise.
That is a bit longer than I thought, but things have been happening, I guess. Shit, what have I been doing the last month? Fuck, I don't even really know.
Oh, good. He's come prepared, people. He's come prepared to the show. He's ready to rock.
I did make some notes. This is the, of course, the special Oscars edition of the Guy and Harley podcast.
Yes, I fucking do love a good Oscars special.
And what we should probably just quickly, what we should quickly talk about is the scandal, the Oscars scandal.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Yeah, what have you heard?
I've heard that they didn't televise because they, for whatever reason, they had to save time, presumably, in the broadcast, and they decided to, they've got to have their ad breaks, and so the ones that don't get televised were, of all things, cinematography and editing.
Yeah.
And that's the scandal.
Yeah.
Because they didn't televise it. But, no offense to, like Adam St. John and Jared Murray, talented DPs. But, no offense, guys, but you don't really need cameras to make movies. So, fair enough.
Just shoot it on an iPhone.
No, even then, you still need a DP. You've still got somebody, running it and making it look great or whatever. It's pretty ridiculous. Like, cinematography is one that you absolutely... How could you dream of not televising that one?
Well, cinematography.
What made it instead? That was was there like best something else there that perhaps shouldn't have been there?
No,
best. No offense, like best makeup or makeup's
no,
important too. But you know what I mean? They got cut as well.
Yeah, I think basically a bunch of those things, got cut, which ruffled a few people's feathers, depending on which department you work in. But cinematography is pretty criminal if you think about, film as a visual medium made up purely of the cinematographer's visuals that he made.
Yeah.
Like, whatever you see on screen, any memorable moment you have ever seen, any iconic shot that you remember from a film was, in a large part due to the cinematographer. And we're talking about communicating, ideas visually, and literally the director goes in and goes, look, I want to do this, and the cinematographer goes, cool, mate, I got just the light for you. I got just the light and just the I can't think of any other. The lens and the thing and whatever else, and that's crazy. I also thought editing was crazy though. Like, you can't. Editing is also
that's painting the picture, isn't it?
And it also defines what your film is. Like, a bad edit is ruins the entire film.
Yeah, a
good edit conceals a lot of silly acting and a lot of funny facials.
Yeah.
Not talking about anyone specific in this room, sitting right next to me.
Well, if I've received poor direction and was not controlled on the day, that's hardly my issue. I show up, I do what I do, and you mold me. If you don't mold me, mate, then I'll just keep doing what I do. Failure of directing is what it's going to be if my acting is ridiculous.
So, such crucial, you know, they're kind of like the three cornerstones almost of acting, right? You've got your editing, your cinematography, and your acting. I mean, I wouldn't put fucking directing in there. You know? Like, yes, it's important to have a good director and all that shit, but you can have a terrible director, and if everyone else is doing their job amazingly, no one would know. You know? Like, if you have a great actor,
Maybe.
and he's on point, and you have a great cinematographer, and they're shooting it well,
yeah.
and the editors come on board.
But I'm sure many a cinematographer out there will be saying, nah, mate, I've had some fucking shit directors that made a shit film and made it look shit, made what I did look shit.
But I think there's a lot of like terrible directors that have made great films, and we just don't know because the crew saved them.
Right.
And the
crew, I'm sure that does happen too.
Crew being the editor, like especially the look of it. So, you know, he was, you know, jumping about, stamping, throwing tantrums and all sorts of things. But yeah, it looked good. So whatever. The actors, they were like, look, you know, this director is giving me terrible direction, but I'll just be a great actor anyway and kind of power through it. And then the editor goes, man, he made some weird choices, but fortunately I can edit it in such a way that you'll never know. But yeah, so it is kind of crazy that the Oscars... Also, the problem with the Oscars is, are they a big, long, boring bullshit anyway? So going by that logic of being big, long, boring bullshit, surely you can afford to have a bit more bullshit. I mean, that's all this is.
Just bloody chuck the ads on during, like, someone's boring speech. Just have, like, instead of, you know, in the old days, they used to have the hook where they just hook you off stage, right? We don't have that anymore. Now that's what we do.
Or now they just play the music.
They
start the music. But yeah, I thought that was a bit, pretty fucking crazy, really.
Look, you know, when it gets shit, ads just start playing.
Okay, what do you think's more dispensable? Because you've got best cinematography, right? You've got best editor. You've got best actor. What about best, what's a supporting role? Would you cut that instead?
Best supporting actor.
Yeah, would you cut best supporting actor instead of...
Yeah, fuck him off. Get him out of there. and get cinematographer in there. Because the thing is that... Now, this is... You know, I'm of the opinion that it's one of the most important relationships on the set is the set between the director and the cinematographer to create the thing that they're trying to create. Yeah. And everyone else is kind of supporting those two to do that thing that they're doing, you know. And so it's pretty important. It's pretty important.
Yeah, I feel like also you've had acting.
But also it's just got such a long and prestigious history. You know, like it's not some silly new thing, you know. It's cinematography.
Also, kind of before there were good actors, before there was acting, there was cinematography and editing. Like those two staples, when sort of film was being invented, they sort of came together to create the medium and the form before we got actors, because, you know, back then, you know, there was no sound, for example, and, you know, it was just images, and it wasn't necessarily like a box office.
I just don't even understand how it could happen. Surely there's like cinematography, like old boys in Hollywood that are like in power positions that are like, did somebody just talk about not televising the cinematography? You know, like, I just thought there'd be powerful people that'd be like, yeah, this is ridiculous. It's such an old and prestigious like line of work.
It's like Casino, or so the good fellas of the cinematographers would have been like, oh, what am I, my fucking ad break to you?
Exactly.
I look like a fucking ad break? Am I a 30-second little commercial? Is that what you think of me? So it is pretty crazy. 2 thumbs down. 2 thumbs down to that Oscars choice. Now, I'd love to tell you who the nominees were, as I sometimes do, and I'd love to tell you.
Well, has it happened yet?
I think it's just happened.
It's just happened.
So
right
as
now.
we're talking, it's kind of like just happened.
Oh, this is the Oscar, the Guy and Harley podcast Oscar simulcast.
Yeah,
we're commentating live, people. We're watching the Oscars now. Actually, one of our friends, Michael Klug, Hollywood critic.
Yeah.
Lives above the Oscars car park, so he can see when all the trucks and all that are coming in.
Right.
Yeah, and he posts about it. It's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting.
Well,
because it's walled off from the outside. Obviously, you can only see it from above.
yeah. Yeah, well, I don't really know what films have been nominated. I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding Bohemian Rhapsody. Heard about that one?
Yeah, the Prince biopic.
Yes. The Queen biopic, I believe is. But yeah, apparently because it was directed by Bryan Singer, alleged Hollywood pedophile.
Oh, yeah, I was just reading about him the other day.
Yeah, so there's a lot of question marks around that. But also, I think there's also basically what happened is he went off the project and it was primarily directed by someone else. But it doesn't matter because that director is not credited. Because of just the way these things work, like it says directed by Bryan Singer, so whoever he would be nominated if is nominated. Pretty sure that was nominated. Pretty sure that's a bad thing.
Wait, so what was nominated?
I can't remember what it's called. Bohemian Rhapsody?
Bohemian. Okay.
Yeah.
And who directed that?
Bryan Singer.
Okay, I didn't know that bit.
But it was...
But I was reading about him being a pedophile. The other day.
Yeah.
In Pedophile Weekly.
Is that where you get your... Doing your research?
My gossip.
Doing
my pedophile gossip.
Doing your research for your next role.
Now, we've got Sam Grizzle just popped up on the podcast and he says, on the live stream, and he says, "Great, couple of Australians.
We're fucking Kiwis, you dummy.
Listen to our accents, numbnuts."
Except me, who's actually an Australian.
Who lives in New Zealand. And I used to live in Australia, so I can be Australian if I need to. You fucking drongo. Fucking dickheads.
What else has been going on with you? I've actually looked at my notes. They're quite minimal. I've taken a look at my notes and I've realised that we've covered them all. It was one topic, the Oscars.
Good. So that's 15 minutes. Welcome. Thank you very much for listening to the show. That's the end of the show. No, of course not. Luckily, I'm here. I had an audition. It was for a web series, and it felt kind of pretty sort of community filmmaking. The level of professionalism felt sort of a little
That sounds
off.
very disrespectful. Yeah.
Why?
Well, community filmmaking, you imagine like a group of like amateurs, gathered around, kind of bumbling around, not knowing what they're doing, and kind of and like like everyone's got a job, but no one knows what their job is. And they're like, "Hey, we're actors, guys. We're making something here.
Yeah,
everybody." And you're telling me that's what this experience of the audition was?
Well, I was
for a fully funded. Is it fully funded?
Let's not talk about anything to do with. I don't want to identify it anyway.
I'm just saying a fully funded.
Well, we don't know. I don't know. Could be funded. Could be. Right. Might not be. I'd say. But it sort of had it was all a bit weird. My character notes and all that were all like they were all contradicting themselves, and then I got there and they didn't know what I was talking about. And because I was talking about stuff from like the wrong notes. Because
you were talking about something from the script, and they hadn't read that. They hadn't actually read that script, so they were like, "What the fuck?"
No, but it went. No? It did go pretty well though, and I would love to be involved. So hopefully I get that.
So hopefully, shitting all over that,
and hopefully that
now has no repercussions.
Well, I haven't been told what it is. All it is a web series. You know how many shit web series I have auditioned for?
You have any idea how many shitty community web series I've auditioned for? Don't worry.
Not gotten.
I'm well covered. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, it went well. And I have a role coming up in a Logan Marshall film in a couple of days. Now, Logan Marshall. Shout out to Logan Marshall. He actually listens. He's about to turn 20, and this guy is going to be.
Turn 20.
He's about to turn 20.
Somebody kill this guy.
He's having a party soon. Don't do that.
Somebody
to him.
top him.
No, don't do that to him. He's going to eclipse. And so if he keeps his current trajectory, he's going to be a big fucking rock star, I reckon. Anyway, he listens to the show, and he told me that his friends fuck with my shit. And at first I was like, what are they doing with my shit? But I've since found out that that's actually very high praise in millennial speak. And so that's exciting. I'm doing that next week.
I think you already done that joke.
Oh, I have, but it was an extension of it.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah. But also, I am going to reuse my jokes sometimes.
Yes, because you can't be bothered fact checking to know if you've already done them. So.
No. Sometimes you just got to reuse them. It's like they're too good. You don't write them once and you write them, then use them once. For the 150 people that listen to your podcast. You don't just think. What about all the people that joined the podcast since I last used it? Like, most people are listening for a little while. I reckon most 5150 listeners pop in for like a few months and then they probably fuck off. And then maybe it's kind of a bit of a ebb and flow. Apart from the deep core,
Yeah. So, anyways, film.
Right. What film?
The film that you're doing with Logan Marshall.
Oh no, that was it. That was the whole story. That was it. That I'm going to be on his film.
What's your character?
I'm a guy getting yelled at. I can't really can't say too much, but I'm a guy getting yelled at in a car.
Can you talk about the concept of the short film?
Well, presumably because it's based on the short film that I reacted in and probably already talked about on the show. So it's Uber. It's a night in a Uber driver's car, and it's like telling the story. Well, not even one night. I think it's several nights. Of basically being an Uber driver's life, and what it does to you and that type of thing. But I don't want to delve too deep into any details.
And look, I would just like to jump in now and say, look,
But you guys can go watch the old one. Yep. It's on. You can find it. I think if you go to Logan Marshall, he's got a website like loganmarshall.co.nz. I don't know. And so go check that out.
Geocities.org.
I don't know. And so anyway, he's got a website and it's called Uber. The film's called Uber.
Yeah, so I would just like to jump in here and say, Logan Marshall, I'm very disappointed in your lack of research for this. Like, you think that because you've ridden in a couple of fucking Ubers, you can write a fucking short film about it and do a big thing without consulting the fucking source? You think that you could cast someone who's never been an Uber driver.
You don't know that.
When you have an actor...
He might be an Uber driver.
He's not an Uber driver.
He might be. I think he might own the Prius. And if he does, then he is fucking probably an Uber driver.
Well, maybe, yeah. You're actually there. Yeah, but where you could have an actor / Uber driver playing an Uber driver, and you get to draw on the wealth of 3 years of misery Uber driving, the stories, the dramas, the hilarity that ensued, the world-weary visage that I have. I could have done that for you, mate, but instead you cast on Numbnuts Harley and some better-looking guy to be the Uber driver. Unbelievable!
So what Guy is saying here, Logan, is that he'd love to be in your next film.
Only if there's a role for a world-weary Uber driver with a mullet. But yeah, didn't go to the source on that one, so I'm going to have to question the authenticity of these Uber stories. All right, what else?
Well, better bring it down a notch.
Sure.
Because it's a very sad episode of Who's Dead this week.
Oh, no.
Now, I acknowledge that I can be a little flippant in this segment sometimes.
You sure can.
Okay, my humor is a little off, and, there's...
Someone called tasteless.
There's something about dead celebrities that just makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's very different when it's not a stranger on the other side of the world who never knew you existed, but when it's somebody that you knew personally. And so it's a very sad episode this week because it's no longer the 5150. It's the 5149. We have lost a 5150 listener. So I'd like to say rest in peace to my friend and colleague Mark Wombold, aka Whammers. I actually think I shouted him out last episode. Yeah, he's a listener, and I don't believe in God, but if heaven's real, then they've definitely got the Guy and Harley podcast. So I like to think that maybe, Mark, you're out there picking up this signal. So I'd just like to say that you were a great guy and always very positive and always had herbal tea and always broad enough for everyone, and I admired your adventures and happy-go-lucky attitude. So I wish I had spoken to you a little bit longer last time I saw you, but anyway, you had a great laugh and you used it often, and I saw my future self in you, because you're a bachelor with no kids using your money to travel and pursue the world and an adventurous life. So rest in peace, Mark Wombold, and even though you're a broadcasting professional and this dead air is going to make you as uncomfortable as it makes me, here is a moment of silence from us and your Sifty 150 whānau. All right, we're back.
I would also just like to say that, his death has also deeply affected the show because of the viewership going down now, and
that's like
a big hit to our
yeah.
numbers. Like
what
one person dying is a huge.
Is it 1% almost? Or?
It's a
no,
huge.
A little bit less.
It's a little bit less, but it's a huge hit to our numbers.
Yeah.
So very, very sorry. How old was he?
45.
Got 10 years.
Heart issues.
10 years. That's how long we've got.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not. But I guess live each day like it's your last, I guess.
Well, it's such a bad advice. Live each day as your last. This is the worst advice.
No. But let's rephrase it then.
Yeah.
Enjoy each day as if it was your last.
I don't know, even that.
Because then you can go, okay, what am I doing? I'm going to work. Oh, well, it's going to be the last time I'm going to see the guys. So, better say goodbye. I think I got a little sidetracked. Anyway. You could enjoy the mundane, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I just think that statement, like, live each day like it's your last, it's like, no, because if, today was my last day, I'd go out, I'd do a bunch
I'd be right here doing a podcast for the
I would spend all my money that I have in my bank account now.
Yeah.
I'd do a bunch of ridiculous things that I otherwise wouldn't do.
Kicking puppies.
Yeah, exactly.
Kicking puppies.
And basically do a whole bunch of things that I would probably greatly regret the next day, but thinking that I'd be dead, it would be all good. Except every day is not your last.
Well, that was like me last fucking rapture, okay? I'm getting sick of these false alarm raptures, all right? Because I keep blowing all my fucking money and kicking fucking puppies
and
having to run away.
Strippers and orgies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't live each day like it's your last. Maybe just like live each day with an appreciation.
Yeah, appreciate it.
With an appreciation of the fact that you are alive to enjoy it.
Yes.
Yeah. That's better advice.
Yeah.
Never live each day like it's your last.
No.
Imagine
the carnage.
Exactly.
Imagine the carnage. I don't even know what I'd actually
say.
do.
Like, I mean, you'd be like, look, I know I'm dying tomorrow, so all these
The
people,
thing is, anything-
I'm just going to be really rude to, because I don't care.
Just fuck them all. I reckon I'd be feeling like, on my way out, I'd be wanting like as much, positivity behind me. So I'd be probably
trying to make
ass-kissing people. Yeah, ass-kissing people and making amends and like super polite to the nurses and shit.
Why? Well, where are the nurses?
Well, I guess I was imagining my last day being
in the hospital.
Well, because I'm fucking old.
Right.
I'm dying peacefully in my bed.
You go dying peacefully. Feeling great at the ripe age of 120. I guess that's what I was imagining.
Well, exactly.
I guess that's how I feel like it's going to go. So.
Well, that is honestly about what I'm expecting. It's about what I'm aiming for.
120 years old, still feeling quite amazing, and just slipping off. Just like a gentle dream.
I'm not even kidding. I've pictured it already.
I've got it all mapped out. It can't be different.
Can't wait.
Yes.
So I applied to be on a low budget web series for like an online.
You mean another one?
Another one
separate to this other audition.
A different one. So this one's not an audition though. It's an application. It's a reality show, but it's only filming over 4 days, and it's called Zombody.
Jesus.
It's called Zombody Save Me. Zombody Save Me.
Like
and
zombies.
Yeah. And so what it is it's a 4-day. Basically, it looks like they put you in like spookers or a fright park type thing, and make you do I guess like.
And try and scare you.
Yeah, well, they obviously try and scare you, but obviously you've got to compete against the other 3 contestants to get shit done.
Right.
While these fucking axe-wielding maniacs are chasing you around and shit, I guess.
Yeah.
But that actually sounds quite cool. So, yeah.
But the thing is, you'd have to act scared.
Well, that is the thing.
You'd really have to put on a big... Because this is the thing. What they're looking for is people shitting their pants all the time,
They want
right?
like Leisha, when we got her at...
you guys
got her at...
They want Leisha just in general, who is quick to scare.
Our dear friend Leisha Ward-Knox.
Quick to be
Actress.
traumatized and very susceptible to frights. That's what they want. So, if you just kind of don't play along, you're like, this is funny. They'll be like, fuck this guy. We're editing. Yeah. Editing. We're using the
you're
form.
Absolutely right.
The Oscars,
shunned.
That we're going to use our editing to cut this dipshit out. He doesn't get it.
Yeah, well...
So you're going to have to be running around shrieking like a little bitch.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of...
very degrading.
It's degrading.
Yeah.
Nah, actually, I think it'd be alright, to be really honest, though. All I'd do is I would let it flow through me, let the adrenaline run, and embrace it, basically.
Use what's known as your acting.
Yeah, basically. It'd be good fun. And I just roll with it. Obviously, I know what they want. And if I'm in an environment where I'm allowed to be as scared as I possibly can be, that sounds like a place where I'll be able to really let it flow through me and embrace it. So I think that'd be cool. But fucking hell, you want to talk about scary and nightmares. Every reality TV show application website is fucking horrible. They're really shit, and they take up so much of your time. You end up having to copy paste everything. And the other day, like for example, they were like on that exact one, they were like, list 3 things that make me special, and told me to take as much space as I need. And then I wrote a big long spiel about like, a big long-winded explanation of the psychological merits and benefits of my particular combination of personalities for the show. And then when I pasted it, it was way too long, and I had to condense it down to like Forrest Gump speak, because they only gave me 250 characters. They said take as much space as you need. So I write a fucking essay, and then they paste it in, and it's only got 250 characters. That's barely a fucking tweet. That's fucking bullshit.
I guess
I had to condense it down to Forrest Gump speak and replace my 2's with 2's and my ands with and symbols, like a fucking barbarian.
I guess they weren't assuming that someone would be so adept at talking about themselves.
It said take as much room as you need. I had it in a 60-page essay.
Talking about my greatest qualities. It couldn't be shorter than that.
Exactly. And then 250 characters. Every fucking time, though, as well. Like, hot tip for anybody out there who's looking to apply for a reality show, do not answer the questions on the website. Take the questions, copy them, and put them into a Word document, and then answer them in the Word document, and then copy it all and paste it back into the website. Because that motherfucker will refresh on you at some point. Or you'll finish the whole fucking page, and then you'll press next, and it'll just go and you'll go back, and it'll be gone. And you will have put in like fucking hours on these essays about how great you are. Okay? So copy paste them, kids. Always use protection.
I was wondering what you'd be doing instead of those older contracts.
Yeah, well, I'm also in the running. Well, not in the running. I've put in an application for the Block NZ, which is great because in the future, I intend to buy a house and I want to be able to do it up. So if I could get on the block, damn, son, I'd learn a lot of stuff. Not just that, though. I would really capitalize on that 5 nights a week in everyone's in New Zealand's living room thing. I don't think it's 5 nights. I think it's 2 nights or 3 nights.
Also, you would probably be psychologically analysed by my ex-girlfriend, which would be fun.
Which one?
Eve.
Oh, does she?
So she does the.
Does she work on that?
She does. I don't know if she does for the block, but she does basically the
analyzing reality TV contestants to see if they're nuts.
Yes, to see
to
how
identify if they're the right type of nuts.
To identify their level of craziness and whether they're likely to top themselves through the show.
Yeah. Well, that's fucking important because people are fucking nuts, man.
It is important.
And you are looking for a certain type of crazy, but sometimes
I feel like
crazy.
It's the worst job in the world, in the sense of talking to the most despicable, vapid people that you could possibly come across.
Why? Because you have to interview people that apply for reality shows. Are you saying that people that apply for reality shows are vapid?
Yes, I am. And I am not only am I saying like Heartbreak Island.
Okay, but there are different types of reality shows.
Of course, but
obviously I'm not applying for Heartbreak Island, although last time I checked, they didn't need a 35-year-old man with an incredibly hairy back.
Yeah, that's definitely not the demo.
The demographic
they're looking to hit. Yeah, but like
I know one of the girls from that show.
You know one of the girls from that show.
Yeah, she's got the same agent as me, so I see her at my agent's parties.
Right. Yeah. I filmed something for the opening night of the Heartbreakers, or Heartbreak Ridge, or something to do with heartbreak.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, if I was psychoanalyzing, whatever you want, if I was doing that to those people, I'd walk away wanting to kill myself. So, but apparently they pay her well, so,
Yeah. I think it'd be a cool job.
Yeah.
Chatting to people, but you've got all the power and you're trying to, use your special training to like weasel out those.
You're chatting to people, but you're kind of like.
But it's not. It's very unfair to say that everybody that applies for a reality show is vapid. It's different.
Oh no!
A lot of people people would be like me, for example, who would see it as a huge stepping stone in a logical career move, and thinking about it purely as a practical person, pragmatically looking at your future and stuff like that.
No, basically a lot of them are fame whores, and what you're...
Yeah, but that's just you saying that. But
no, it's not me saying that. Literally, I've been filming these people.
Yeah, but if you go on...
for literally like a year. And I watched them be interviewed. I'm the guy behind the guy filming these people, and I'm like, who the fuck are these idiots? And why? And why are we making TV shows about them?
Okay,
they're terrible. They're actually terrible.
Okay, sure, but like trying to get on like a building show is different to trying to get on
That's true.
Heartbreak Island.
Absolutely.
Or something like that where it's about being beautiful.
100%.
But there's also all the reality shows that are about many other skilled things like costume designers and makeup art, and modeling models and all of these people. Those are all reality shows. They've all got people on them.
Not in New Zealand.
Who are talented individuals working on their careers and see it for the logical stepping stone that it is.
Not in New Zealand.
Well, we've done New Zealand's Top Model and all that type of shit as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sure the New Zealand's top models were gems of people. Absolute delights.
Well, I might have been giving modelling
too much credit.
Little much credit.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it's like dumb hot people, because obviously if you're hot, you don't have to be smart.
But again, that's so like... black and white. Now, obviously, I see where you're going with it, but you can't speak in such broad terms. You've got to go often.
Yeah, okay.
With some people.
Sure.
There are many beautiful, intelligent people out there.
100%.
Way smarter than me and way more beautiful than me.
100%.
And I acknowledge it.
But also, look, I just see what I'm filming, mate. I just call it like I see it. And these people are not, looking for PhDs, shall we say.
Well, there is something to be said for that idea of like, if you're a good-looking person, that you don't have to develop your personality so far.
Of course you don't. I mean, look,
because life comes your way anyway. Like in a lot of ways. Obviously, there's still you can be attractive and like
let's
real
be
problems.
Clear.
You can have real problems and be attractive,
and also
it doesn't solve all your problems.
There's 100%.
Believe me.
There's 100% exceptions to the concept that if you're hot, you're dumb, or whatever, guy or girl. Totally agree with that. However, the majority of people, I think that's probably the best way to say it, is that if you don't have to develop your personality, if people respond, what's the word? If people respond to you in a positive way when you do little to no work in a conversation or speaking eloquently, then you don't have to learn to speak eloquently. You don't have to learn to be anything more than that.
Yeah.
And also
that stuff will only get you so far as well, though.
Yeah,
to a degree.
Onto a
but it definitely makes it easier.
New Zealand reality TV show. You'd be shocked at how far some of these people have gone.
Yeah.
You'd be dismayed.
Look, I'm not surprised that there are a lot of vapid ones. I guess again it's just that whole black and white thing. I'm just saying they can't all be vapid idiots.
No.
A lot of them are just sensible, looking at it pragmatically.
Yeah. Well, when I meet one of them, I'll let you know.
You're sitting next to one, man. If I got on that show, any show, it would be all about just building up the brand, right?
Yeah,
and the whole point of all of that is to funnel traffic back to the filmmaking, back to Pigville.
You're right, Harley, but I hate to break this to you, okay?
I would capitalize. I would be on every fucking billboard. I'd be holding a pie and a hammer, and I'd be like, "Don't forget to get your pie on the way to the hammer shop."
I understand that, but you're missing one crucial element. You're not actually a Hollywood heartthrob type, okay?
Well, I don't have to be a Hollywood heartthrob.
But what we're talking about is like super good-looking people, super vapid good-looking people doing this.
No, we're not. We're talking about people that apply for reality shows. That's what we're talking about. And there are plenty of vapid ones, but we're talking about.
Yes.
How there's a multitude of people that do it for different reasons, and I am a good example because I am not the handsome guy from The Bachelor.
Yeah. And that's why you're not going to be on that show.
No, that's not fair. There's lots of unattractive people on reality TV.
Maybe on what's that show called?
The Block?
Yeah.
The one I'm fucking applying for?
Yeah, maybe on The Block. But definitely not on Heartbreak Island.
Okay, but you're obsessed with Heartbreak Island. It's one shit example of reality TV.
Survivor.
There's a million good reality concepts out there that are being done well, that are good and interesting television. And people are applying for them.
Are you sticking up for reality TV right now?
Yes, but like sensible, good, educational, interesting reality TV, not shitty, schlocky, dramatic reality TV. But there are different types out there that are just interesting social experiments.
Like?
The Block, NZ. I'd love to be on that show. I'd fucking love to be on that show. It'd be excellent. I'd have such a great time. I'd capitalize on it.
Brilliant show. Brilliant social commentary on building a house.
Hey, it's interesting. It's interesting. I've learned a lot about building because of it.
Have you actually watched it?
No. No, of course I have. I used to watch it professionally. I'm actually a professional block watcher. Because one of my old jobs was I used to have to watch TV before it went on TV. It was a very cool job. Well, no, I mean, the day-to-day was a bit humdrum, but it was a cool idea of a job, which is that I just had to watch all the TV.
TV watcher.
Yeah, professional TV. I had to watch all the TV before it went on TV to make sure that there was no technical glitches or missing segments or anything like that. So basically my job was literally to sit there and watch it, get the audio just right if it needed tweaking, and just make sure there was no faults. And so I watched The Block every week because I had that one came in live because a lot of it's done. No, what happened? No, it didn't come in live. The producer used to come and sit down with it and watch it sort of with me for the first time type thing, and we'd like figure it out. Anyway, so I have seen it. I'm a professional block watcher.
Cool. Maybe we should talk a little bit about my surgery and recovery.
Okay.
So since the last time that we spoke on this podcast,
yep.
I had not seen the specialist yet for the update on what is going on with my hip and where we're
So wait,
at.
what did you say? You haven't seen the specialist yet?
I hadn't yet.
Oh, you hadn't yet.
Last podcast,
but now you have.
But now I have.
Okay.
So I saw the specialist last Monday, and he sort of said that it seemed to be progressing okay, but that there was absolutely no way to know for sure, and absolutely no way to tell from now what will happen in terms of my recovery, and absolutely no way to tell whether it will become a problem in a year, 5 years, or 20 years. But could be any of those. So that was his.
So he's saying it looks good, but there's not really any way to tell until it goes bad again.
Yeah, basically he was saying that. So now I can sort of. So now
you've always got to live with that weighing over your fucking shoulders on your head
Sure.
there. Oh fuck, like my hip could fucking shit itself at any second.
So first
if I be a wrestler,
it was basically quick to say like 1 in 4 people don't get back to their sport. In my case, wrestling.
Yeah.
He was quick to mention that. He said
1 in 4 is pretty good. I like those odds.
Hell yeah,
75%. That's pretty good. Like if I was a betting man.
He said about 10% of people come back in about a year and are like, something not right.
Yeah,
it hasn't really. Something's not really going on here. And he's like, and those people, they're in the bad category, the really bad category. And then he was like, then there's people in sort of 5 years that start developing more issues again. And then he's like, and then now we see people in the future where we're, looking at like, kind of like he's kind of pitching like the best case scenario was 20 years before I need a new hip.
That was the best case scenario.
That was kind of like the best case vibe is like, hey, if
best case scenario,
like best case
20, you won't need to get a fake hip for 20 more years.
So best case scenario, we've got you back to 85%, which is what his hope is, 85%. We've got you back to 85%, and we're not looking at like a hip replacement for 20 years. Yeah. Now, 20 years may seem like a long time, but actually it's not. And 55 for a hip replacement is actually very, very young. So young, in fact, that you'd probably, if you live a long life, need 2, which is not good at all. Because, what I did was essentially, like, I don't know, 20% of a hip replacement, in terms of like the level of, what happened.
Yeah.
But he basically said that the issue is that he repaired the torn labrum, but the real issue was the cartilage damage around that, which was causing my hip to click and, causing discomfort and get caught and all that sort of thing. And they had to remove all that cartilage, but cartilage doesn't grow back. So what is replaced is soft cartilage, which can be stable, but also can not be stable and not really do much. And so he's like, it's very hard to know because we had to take a lot away, is that going to really affect the joint or not? Or is it going to be okay with the soft cartilage and the other cartilage that you have? But he did say, look, now you can get back into more stuff at the gym and doing, essentially I have now, it's been sort of, this is week 7, and this week is the week that I've actually started being able to do quote unquote leg stuff. Like I'm actually doing exercises to really strengthen the hip and that joint. And actually, so like this is the beginning of my recovery this week for 6 to 9 months. So that's where I'm at.
And you've been documenting some of this.
I have been documenting it. I've been recording vlogs about it. But, to what end?
Well, I think it's, at minimum, it's going to be great just for the next little Pigville doco, which
True.
we should do at some point. Probably it'd be nice to do one like around Older, I guess. When Older comes out, then you've got this nice piece of supporting material, kind of like, following up from the old doco.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it'd be great to have all that footage. All that shit's great. You could even start thinking of it now as a project for the future and start recording that stuff for that specifically.
True. I mean, yeah, I think my issue is always time. Time is at a premium, and got some things to finish at the moment. The vegans, the vegans, the vegetarian, Imogen the vegetarian. Older, obviously, which I've been watching a lot of recently. I've got a big problem with Older at the moment because essentially I'm editing Older on Final Cut 7, and Final Cut 7 is an editing system.
Now, you're cutting it there because you started it there many moons ago?
So I cutting it there because
everything else we do is on Adobe Premiere Pro.
That's right. So I'm cutting it there because I started this 6 years ago, but also because I survived a zombie Holocaust on
you know
on
the
it. So I was
tricks.
very familiar with it. I was familiar with everything about it, and it was sort of, like I was like, okay, I get it. I get the workflow of this. And it was before Premiere had, there was still lots of hangers-on to Final Cut 7. Now there is zero hangers-on to Final Cut 7. But I've got, my problems are threefold. So one, I'm editing in Final Cut 7, which is essentially a piece of software that hasn't been updated for about 8 years. So that's one problem. The second problem is I'm editing on a Mac Pro 2008, which of course is now over a decade old, and is really showing its age. It's not. I believe there's some faulty RAM in it, but I don't know which RAM it is to take out. But it basically means that it is very prone to shitting its pants and shutting down at any second.
So if you'd like to help with all of that, go to patreon.com/pigville and you can start donating $1 a month. And,
the other problem is that, I'm sort of at the quality control, the QCing stage of it. So I'm trying to fix the sound, which Final Cut 7 is not good with. I'm looking through the grade.
And what's it take to, transfer it over and finish it, in Premiere Pro type thing? If you wanted to do that stuff to make it easier now.
I'm not sure, but I don't think it would be very easy.
Right.
And also, I could kind of do this generation of it, but, if I had to go back into any individual scenes or extra bits or whatever,
complicate a lot of things.
It would not be very easy. So I'm sort of kind of madly trying to export out different project files and different bits and pieces before my computer crashes to get it into my other computer to look through it to make sure there's no mistakes, because that's the other thing is you get to this part of the process and you start looking at all the fuck ups visually or sound wise, and then you have to correct those. And unfortunately, when you go through the grade, I've just been grading it with a good friend Alana, who has done an amazing job, and it looks awesome. But we just blasted through that grade, and now we've got to go back and look at, there's a tiny little color shift here. This visual effect hasn't been put in here. This layer has been turned off here, and it has some weird thing. And then I've got all the sound things as well, where it's essentially Final Cut is just very buggy when you add too many layers of sound. But what I'm trying to do right now is a sound mix with many, many layers of sound. So it sounds kind of like a film when you watch it, when we submit it to festivals, even though it hasn't been, professionally mixed. I'm trying to offer something as close to that as possible. But, Final Cut just can't handle that. And so it's been a very frustrating, time-consuming process, essentially purely to export one single version which is watchable to the public. But that's what I'm working on, and I think that I've got it now. I just have to watch it again for the 100th time tonight to make sure, and then we might think about some festival submissions.
Well, that's pretty exciting, though.
It
Focus
is
on the positive.
That's true. Now, if we could just get that $20,000
from who?
The Film Commission.
For a finishing grant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we could just get that, that'll just solve everything. And if you could get on with all those older jobs that you...
All the older admin that you've
been
allocated
neglecting.
to me.
That's right. That's correct.
All the older admin you've allocated.
I have allocated it, yes.
1 year, people. That's what we said. That's what we said. That's what was said at the beginning of this project. 1 year. 1 year, 12 months. We'll just condense the whole I Survived the Zombie Holocaust experience down into 12 months.
Cut to 6 years later.
Cut to, it's taken longer than I Survived the Zombie Holocaust for us to make older.
Ooh, no, probably not the development, not counting the script writing and stuff, I don't think.
Well...
So no.
Only if you're saying only if you're counting really super early incarnations of the zombie film concept.
But there was a year, sort of a year's worth of script writing for the zombie film, and applications and bits and pieces, which
but older took a long time to write as well.
Not that long though. That was much more quicker, fluid process.
either way, it doesn't really matter because it was only 4 years for I Survived a Zombie Holocaust because we got the funding in November 2010. We shot the movie around March, April 2011, and it came out in May 2015, which is only 4 years after the shoot. 4 years direct, as in basically 4 years to the day from the shoot, not to the day, you know what I mean? Like close enough. It's now already like 6 years with Older. We shot it in 2013. It's 2019 now.
That's true.
You keep talking on this old vintage funny phone. This vintage, you see any texts and stuff
And
on
on
this,
a vintage
on
laptop.
on this vintage laptop and this vintage
I'm a
phone.
hipster. I'm a hipster. That's what hipsters do.
They're like, is that a fucking Samsung S3? Is that an S3?
I did always think about that. Even when
I thought of it too.
I thought about that even not like, even...
I hate it when I see a film that ages itself like that. I just don't like it. I don't enjoy it.
Well, you won't like this then.
Oh, way heady on that. Way heady on that one, mate. No, I'm kidding. I do like it.
But I mean, the difference is, of course.
Pass me a beer, Al.
Zombie Holocaust was funded. Older was self-funded. And also,
well, obviously, I understand the many reasons why. It's more just that it's funny that it was 12 months. It was meant to be 12 months. In my mind, this project was 12 months. It's going to be hard, yakka. We'll get there though.
Well, also, like
6 years later.
The funny thing is, I don't even know if I'd started editing it in 12 months.
No, probably not.
Because I think I was pretty much all zombie film.
Yeah, well, everything's fucking slow. Because and I Survived a Zombie Holocaust was still being cleaned up and all of that stuff, and came out after we shot Older.
Yeah, so obviously many reasons, but it is, shall we say, depressing that it's taken this long.
If anyone would like to know more about it, facebook.com/oldermovie and or possibly Older the Movie, but I think it's Older Movie. Facebook.com/Older Movie, and you can follow it there. That's our next film, which is hopefully going to be in festivals soon. There's also Facebook.com/ISAZH if you'd like to go check out I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, which is still out there, still doing the circuits. Not the festival circuits, just the television circuits. It's traveling through television circuits and being broadcast on screens.
I was
what I'm
going to say
saying.
the pirating circuits.
Oh, the pirating. Oh, that too. It's on YouTube again. People put it on YouTube.
Is the German version still on YouTube?
Well, I didn't take that one down.
Because that's just good for a laugh.
Yeah. No, I specifically didn't take the German version down because I wanted to hear the bit, where I'm like, oh, Scheiße! Scheiße.
Have you watched it? How much of that have you watched?
No, I didn't watch it properly. I just kind of scrubbed through a little bit.
Right.
It's fucking hard for me to watch, to be honest, still. It's like I'm real proud of it and I really like it, but I've seen it so many times and I have an aversion to watching it again. So I kind of scrubbed through.
Like, isn't it like, it's like...
that would be such a great date
like when you
movie.
get beaten.
Come round and watch me in a movie.
It's like when you get beaten, when a dog gets beaten on its back all the time. And then when you go to pat its back, it flinches away because it's like it knows it's been beaten there.
Yeah.
That's what watching the film was like to us.
Yeah. This is a reasonable analogy. I'll let that one pass. Yeah. It's like being a beaten dog. Every time you see it, it just reminds you of all the painful bits.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, look, Older is also like, because also I think I was having this conversation. I think it's kind of interesting. I was having this conversation with another friend of ours of like, well, why did it take so long? And like, obviously we have talked a little bit about that on the show, but part of the reason too is that I wasn't willing to like kill myself for like, a couple of years. Like, with the zombie film, I just literally just every day wake up. Zombie film. Yeah. What can I do for the zombie film?
For how long?
For, 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And it was just like, zombie film. Do I have any spare time? Zombie film. Do I have any spare money? Zombie film. Do I have anything? Zombie film. Have I had any sleep today? No, too bad. Got to work on the zombie film. So many times just falling asleep in my... Like, that's the only time I've ever really fallen asleep in my chair is in front of Zombie Holocaust, like working on it. Right, just do that multiple nights and you just wake up and go, man, what the fuck, and it's like 4 a.m. And I was definitely so eager and prepared to do that for Zombie Holocaust. And then nothing happened.
Yeah.
So the second time round, it's kind of like, and I don't want to say that I've slacked off with Older or anything because there's been many cycles of months or periods of time where I've been all older, but it just hasn't been to
Operation Semi-Pro.
But it just hasn't been to the quite the same degree of like, you know, it's like I'm not sacrificing every single thing for this. Like every other aspect of my life is gone. It's like girlfriends, money, quality of living, you know, fuck all that. Zombie film. That was my sort of mentality. Time to myself. Fuck everything. The zombie film. And for this one, I'm more like, you know, just have a few of those things from time to time. It's kind of nice just to live a little.
6 years later.
So and that's the difference. But I think that's almost like a great comparison of like kind of trying to do everything yourself, but absolutely kill yourself. You know, you can do it in 2.5 years. Don't completely kill yourself. Still do other things outside of that. 6 years for a feature film. It's pretty accurate. So you can see what's happened here. I put in a third as much effort. Was it? Yeah, about.
Yeah.
A third as much effort this time round.
Well, it's finally happening anyway.
It is. You should probably watch the newly graded version.
I'd love to.
It's available on
Vimeo.
On Vimeo.
Not publicly.
Not publicly, just a private link.
Yeah. Well, now that I've viewers on the live stream will note that I've revamped the studio. I've changed around the room, and I've got, you can't see it, but I've recently made a purchase. And I don't normally make consumer purchases. I'm not very proud of it, to be honest. It's possible that I have buyer's remorse, but I have a large TV now. You know, and it's because I've been playing Red Dead in bed. You know, I mean, and Red Dead Redemption as well. And so
Red Dead in bed.
And so,
time for a bit of Red Dead in bed, love. Which is literally
that's the new Netflix and chill.
Which is that's you just telling her that you're gonna lie in bed playing video games while ignoring her.
Yeah.
Ready for a bit of Red Dead in bed?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the new Netflix and chill. Yeah. So, I do have a new TV, and so what that means is I could watch older in 4K.
No, it doesn't.
Because it's 1080p?
Yes.
But I can watch it on a big screen anyway.
That's right.
On a big screen that, yeah, hopefully those TVs don't keep advancing before the movie comes out.
What you mean in terms of the like, oh, we've got, well, they have.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right that in the sense that like, whoa, what are we looking at the shitty resolution of 1080? What is wrong with these people? It'll be interesting to see. Look, I get to a point now because I have watched it quite a lot recently. I watched the first half and I start feeling really good. You know, I'm like, man, I think we've done something really cool here. And then I get to the second half and I'm like, oh, fuck. Not like, is this a shit film so much, but like that elation, that feeling of like, hey, this is good, this is really working, just peters out into, fuck, I hate watching this film.
Well, there's an endorsement for the listeners. Go check it out when it comes out.
Well, look, to be totally honest, I had exactly the same feeling with the zombie film. Like, in fact, it was far worse because there was far more fuck-ups and mistakes in the zombie film. So I had to watch it many more times than I've so far watched older. So, you know, I can't really complain.
Shout out Ryan Krofsky, new 5150 listener, and also Tanya Wiley as well, who has also been dipping her toe in here and there. But yeah, Ryan Krofsky has gone back and listened to heaps of them, and he puts them on. He's been putting them on and falling asleep while listening to them. That's how soothing our voices are. Soothing. Yeah.
Not boring.
Not boring. Soothing.
Not put you to sleep podcast.
No. This is exciting.
Just soothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. I've got a 1 second. I've just had a Bumble match. Hang on. Let me just. Oh, let me just see what she says here. Oh, it's a message from Karen. Hey. Now fuck off, Karen. Coming at me with hey. Okay.
You become a real Bumble Nazi.
Let's break this down for a second, all right? Okay? What is the point of matching on Bumble? Right? It's to go on a date. It's to meet someone. What is the goal of your date? They all say on their profiles that they're not down to fuck, right? Mm-hmm. They're not DTF, which I don't think means they're not down to filmmake. Yep. They're not down to fuck, as they say. So if, as they say, they're not looking to get dicked down, then what is the goal of a date? The goal of a date is to have a nice time. It's for it to go well. It's for sparks to fly. It's for some romance. And then it's for a second date. Right? Now, the purpose of the second date is to get a third date, and the purpose of all the dates is to eventually enter a relationship. After all, nobody on Bumble or Tinder is DTF. Mm-hmm. So that's the point, right? To get into a relationship. Now, let's assume that these dates go well, right? And she ends up in a relationship with me. Karen ends up in a relationship with me. What's the point of a relationship, right? The dream scenario is you find someone you can spend the rest of your life with, and you can put down roots and raise a family and buy a house and live happily ever after, okay? Right. So the ultimate ideal goal of matching with me on Bumble is to become my baby mama and spend the rest of my life with me. Rest of your life with me, her life with me. So here I am, right? Her baby daddy in waiting, her life partner, her soulmate, and she's coming at me with, hey. Okay, get the fuck out of here, Karen. You're clearly not the one. All right? You've got to put in some effort. All right? I'm your baby daddy, for crying out loud. You know, she wants a bit of the nibs and she's coming at me with, hey. Okay? These ladies, man, they want a diamond, but they don't want to dig for it. All right?
They don't want to give it a polish.
Exactly.
They don't want to polish it off.
You're right. So I've given up on Bumble and Tinder. I haven't really been on them for ages. Fucking hey.
Man, yeah, you really become a fussy bitch. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, this is the problem. It's still the same problem. You fuck. Okay? There is no point in making an effort unless you have established the parameters that person is going to respond to you. So there is no point coming with the witty one-liners and the smart, the smart, charming remarks and all of that until you have gotten some sort of response. Something sort of response.
Okay, I get that. But when I am initiating and sending the first message,
well, did you?
I don't do that.
Yeah, I know, but it's still
when I initiate, I look at their profile and I go, oh, it says here that she's a foodie, and oh, here's a picture of her jumping on a mountain, and she's a foodie. And like then I can go, hey, I love jump off a mountain, you fucking foodie. I'm a foodie too. I live on Earth and I eat food every fucking day. I'm a foodie too. Jump off a mountain. I put in some effort.
If you're jumping on a mountain, you can jump right off that fucking mountain, okay? Because it's fucking cliche.
Yeah, exactly. I put in some effort on that initial message, and I'm expecting, in return, if they're interested, some sort of level of, commitment to that conversation. Like, yeah, okay, I'm going to actually look at this person's profile and go, all right, I'm interested in meeting somebody. What am I looking for? I'm looking for a short, bald, hairy guy. Oh, well, look, I fucking found one. All right, well, okay, now what? Oh, look, he's into bloody filmmaking. That's what I'm into. Hi, I saw you're into filmmaking. Cool, I'm into filmmaking. What do you do? That's it. That's it. That's all I'm asking. But something.
The playing field, the playing field is always gonna be in favor of the woman here.
Well, yeah, but that's, I think
that they will.
You've mistaken me for a player when I'm just an observer now. I'm just I'm a spectator, mate. I'm on the sideline.
That's hilarious.
I've got good seats.
You're back on the bench.
I'm on the bench.
You're on the bench.
But I've got good seats, man. I'm fucking happy.
Maybe you'll sub in for 5 to 10 minutes.
Every now and then I pop out.
Maybe you'll sub in for a quick 5 minutes.
Score a point or two.
Go for a run round on the field, on the pitch.
Yeah.
And then be put back.
Yeah.
Go back and sit down.
Yeah. Well, it's a good life. It's not actually a bad life. So so what I'm saying is that if they want me to get off the bench, they're gonna have to try a little harder. My baby mama is going to be trying. Look, it's not so much that they're going to have to try, or anything like that. It's more, I'm just saying that the woman that wins my heart will try harder than, hey.
You know what? I would love to see your ex-girlfriend's Tinder conversations. And I bet, the love of your life, should I utter her name?
Why? I don't even like we're talking about her being on Tinder. What are you doing?
Angie.
Well, why would you even... Yeah, okay, what about her?
I was waiting for you to... There we go. I bet her messages to some of these guys start off as, hey!
I don't think she's on Tinder. I don't want to talk about... I don't want to think about that. I don't think she's on Tinder. Anyway, she's look, here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing.
All right.
We're bringing this up.
Yeah, sure. Let's bring it up.
See, the thing is that Angie has a new boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
She's moved on. Yep. Operation Flying Sparrow turned into Operation Boeing 747, the fuck away from my face. She never came back.
It morphed into Operation Sparrow's fart.
Operation Get Up Early.
Yeah.
Hang on. Sorry. I've just got a cable in my way. Yeah, anyway, so I did actually see her new boyfriend on Insta. And he's a blue-eyed creative who hasn't created as much as me.
Yeah, if we're keeping
tabs. And his eyes aren't quite as blue as mine.
If we're... being fair.
Yeah. He is taller than me, and I was obviously disappointed and hurt to see that he had a full head of hair.
So it's kind of 2-2 here. Or whatever.
Yeah, it's 2-2. But even so, that's simply not going to be enough to close the gap. So I was relieved to see that she had settled on what was essentially the poor man's Harley Neville. So, yeah, that's the update there.
What does he do?
I wish her well
in his creative ventures.
Well, I don't want to delve and identify. I wish her well.
So you don't know, or you?
I know, but I'm not one for.
It's like
sharing,
Voldemort.
Intimate details.
You don't want to say his name out loud.
Exactly, and so yes. Anyway, I do wish her well, but that's the update there. So,
quick update: your girlfriend from 2 years ago. Has a boyfriend.
Has a new boyfriend. There.
Quick little update there.
Yeah.
Quick little update. Your gorgeous, beautiful girlfriend.
You're trying to make me cry.
From 2 years ago has moved on. Shockingly, surprisingly, has found someone else. It's weird. It's weird that she would have found someone else in 2 years.
My best friend, ladies and gentlemen.
It's weird.
I liked it when he was my hype man before, at the beginning of that, like at the beginning of that sort of bit there, he was my hype man. He was like, no, but 2 out of 4 is fine. 2 out of 4 is great, It's 2 for 2. 2 out of 4 is fine. All of that stuff. By the end of it, he's just rubbing it in my face.
No, I'm just saying it's not really.
He's just rubbing it in my face.
It's not a big surprise.
Like, fuck you, Harley.
That this may have happened over the course of 2 years.
Okay, but I never said it was a surprise.
No.
I just updated.
Yeah.
So you're just rubbing it in like a fucking big hairy ball bag with a fucking dumb looking mullet.
So obviously some unresolved feelings.
Of hate towards Guy.
Bubbling up there, but I guess we'll move on from that.
Okay, well, have you got something? Well, earlier on I did actually mention Forrest Gump, right? That excellent movie. And I just wanted to point out that it has ruined the name Forrest for everyone else. Okay? But Forrest is actually a great name. I was thinking about it for my next son, right? It's a forest. It speaks of strength and resilience. It speaks of refuge. It speaks of nature, and it honors our ancestors. So to the Sifty 150 listeners, I encourage you to name your child Forrest. That's all.
Yeah, or plant, or fucking tree.
Forest evokes a better image than plant, though.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Strength, resilience, height.
Height.
Oh, I wish I had height.
Because we also all know how heightist women are.
Sometimes.
So I did read a tweet from one of my wrestling.
He loves a fucking generalization, doesn't he?
One of my wrestling female friends, and it was like, I can't remember. It was one of those games where it was like, say something. Oh shit! It was like, say something that you would know means that you've gone insane or that is completely unrealistic. And her one was like, I'm attracted to guys under 6 foot.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, yeah,
Heightism.
It's rampant.
Heightism and baldism.
It's
okay?
rampant.
These things are the bane of my existence. Heightism and baldism.
Rampant.
Yeah.
Being attracted to people under 6 foot. Yeah. Something that, that she'd gone crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I did... Excuse me. You talk now, guy.
Okay. Well, I will just say
perusing my notes.
I did catch another a movie. And I was quite impressed by it. It's by Steven Soderbergh, famous director, and it's called Unsane. Have you heard of this one?
And I have heard of Unsane, the hardcore band from the 90s, who have this great music video, and it's just skaters nailing themselves and breaking their legs and then breaking their arms and slamming for 3 minutes. Unsane. Go check it out. It's on YouTube.
Unsane.
I remember it from my youth.
Go check out this actual film, which is about... it's basically
all right.
It's basically all shot on an iPhone. So it's the second kind of big film that I know of that was entirely shot on an iPhone.
Oh, that's edgy.
Which is a weird gimmick, because what do you really achieve by doing that apart from your thing looking kind of shitter than it would?
There's a couple of things. The first and the biggest one is the marketing value of it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest draw. It's a gimmick, and so that's a big draw, and that's going to make you a bit special and might get you in the festivals, and it gives you something to talk about in the paper and all that type of stuff. So that's a big one. And then on top of that, you do have to assume that there will be some expenses associated with collecting the data from such a small device, and having so many card changes and that type of thing, or however you'd make the I guess you'd figure out a way to attach a big storage to it or whatever, but that stuff would be a bit complicated and expensive. But overall you'd have to assume you'd save some money.
It's interesting because it's essentially also giving every nerdy indie filmmaker hope.
That's cool too,
because they go, oh well, Steven Soderbergh just shot his latest film on an iPhone. We don't need big this and big that, big that.
Yeah.
We just need a cool story. Well, you do need a cool story. That is very important. We actually just had that conversation with someone about story being really the most important thing. But it was quite a good film, and it's a kind of a pretty interesting concept. It's basically about this girl who is struggling with dealing with the fact that she has moved cities because of a stalker. And then she is having some issues, and she goes for an evaluation. Not even an evaluation, just to speak with someone at a sort of... They're not called this anymore, but an insane asylum, basically. So she goes there to talk to a doctor, and she signs a bunch of release forms. And in doing so, she basically gives them the right to keep her there for a week, because then they can collect on her insurance for being there, and so they don't really tell her that that's what's happening, and then that's what happens. And then she finds the dude that was stalking her is now working as an orderly at this clinic. It's pretty fucked up, but that also makes her seem crazy, and a lot of the stuff makes her seem crazy. I'm not crazy, let me out of here, I'm not crazy. You're clearly crazy, sir, we're gonna have to keep you longer, or miss. So it's a really cool concept. It's done pretty well. The thing that I didn't really like about it was the fact that it was just shot on an iPhone.
Right.
Everything else was great.
But how about this? Would you have even heard of it if it wasn't shot on an iPhone?
Well, yeah, because it's directed by Steven Soderbergh, but...
Oh, right. I don't know who that is, but yeah, but I believe he sounds like a big deal.
He directed Traffic. Remember that?
Okay,
I'll make it easier. He directed
Ryan Phillippe.
He directed Ocean's 11. Does
Oh,
that help
yep,
you?
yep,
Yeah. Okay.
yep.
So
Yep, Neil Armstrong's in that one. Neil.
I don't even know who you're fake referencing.
Never mind. Keep going.
Just had to have a drink there. But I'll highly recommend it. It's a great watch. An interesting concept on paranoia and sort of where you can get to and how it can really fuck up your shit. So definitely worth a watch. Highly recommend that. And interesting to see it on an iPhone, but really I wouldn't necessarily agree with that choice. And I should just say about Steven Soderbergh, he's kind of like this guy that works within studios but does lots of independent stuff as well. He does big films, he does small films. He's just Sex, Lies and Videotape was his first film, which kind of shot him to stardom. But anyway, he did also the TV show The Nick. Didn't you watch that?
I don't think so.
Okay. So anyway, he's like the man, and one of the things that he said was, hey, we can't keep spending hundreds of $1 million on advertising and then our films just flop. You know, like, that's not really working. You know, the way that we promote films and stuff is not really working because it involves us spending like 2 to 3 times as much as the film cost on marketing. And so his idea was like, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to release these films independently, and then I'm going to spend only this much amount, which is like, so he makes a film for, you know, a certain amount, and then he's like, I'm only going to spend this much amount, which I think was still a lot. I think it was like $20 million on marketing, but it's going to be all targeted shit. So it's like new wave. It's like us on Facebook. Spending money on targeted ads. He's like, we're not going to do the go on talk shows and all that sort of thing. We're just going to literally try and appeal to the people that would like this film through all these different, you know, clickable ads and all that sort of thing. And he was like, and this has to be a better method. And he tried that for 3 films. Lucky 7, which was a big flop. This one, which was like kind of did okay in comparison to its budget, because its budget was like very small because it was shot on an iPhone. And then one other film, and they basically all kind of flopped. And his conclusion at the end of this was like, you know what? Actually, we have to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on marketing. I thought I had the answer. I thought by doing this way it was much smarter and we could save money, and like studios couldn't hold marketing budgets over our heads as a way to control our films.
Yeah, but it turns out
that's not true, and we actually have to spend those silly amounts of money, you know, for the awareness and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which I think is fucking fascinating.
Well, it's fascinating because what you're doing is you're hiring a propaganda machine, right? That's what you're doing. And they've got a long history of understanding how people's minds work. And so they spend all that money and they know what to appeal to and all that type of thing to get you to want to see it.
It's so weird, though, because on the same token, no one knows anything. You know,
no. I mean, there's the science of propaganda is quite, you know, strong.
But I guess what I'm saying is like the film that they think is going to be the biggest success of that year could be their biggest failure.
Right.
So they're, you know, all that stuff that they do.
Well, I'm just saying that it's very helpful to have that propaganda person behind you. You know, evidently it's not so easy to just do it yourself.
But yeah, man, $20 million on like targeted marketing and
didn't work.
Didn't do shit.
Yeah. But
Fascinating.
what was the budget of his whole film?
I think it was probably less than that.
So say the whole thing cost
maybe
like
10.
So the whole thing lost like $30 million.
Yeah.
But he made some money, but overall
like huge
he lost
loss.
Millions.
Huge loss.
Yeah.
Starring I haven't seen the film, but stars James Bond. So
right. You should probably watch it.
Yeah,
it might be good. It might be that the marketing failed it, like I Survived a Zombie Holocaust.
Yeah, I guess
which is a good film that the marketing failed on.
Well, there has to be marketing for it to fail.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't mean the marketing as in the people we used were fine. What I mean is that we
failed to have marketing.
Yeah, basically, we failed to market it, and we failed very well, and we failed to market it very broadly and that type of thing. Yeah. But I'm very proud of how it the deals we did get.
Does
Though.
it-
Like,
I mean,
like
that's-
if
yeah.
Older does as well as I Survived a
We'll
Zombie.
be
I
doing-
don't want to depress you, guy, but
Yeah.
if Older does as well as I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, I'm going to be very proud.
If Older does half as well as
Yeah.
I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, not only will I be very proud, we'll be much wealthier than we are right now.
Yeah,
And we were from fucking old I Survived a Zombie Holocaust purely because
because
of...
we'll own more of it and all that.
Yeah, and just, some silly deals that we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating because I also have been looking into how these independent films are distributed, which I talked to you a little bit about off here, which is these distribution aggregators, which is basically like a company that like QCs, like quality controls your film, and then gives it to Amazon, Netflix, and all these places, Google Play, which is kind of what sales agents used to do, but they only do it for online. And the idea is that they only take a little bit up front or a much smaller percentage, and it's all yours. Essentially, they're the gatekeepers, and being the gatekeepers is what keeps them employed. And then whatever you make from those films is what you make from those films, which is an entirely different model to sort of sales agent distribution, where you kind of give it all away and get nothing back, but you hope that they have a large $20 million marketing campaign in place for you. Yeah.
Well, look, hold that thought right there, because 5150 listeners, I need to take a piss.
Well, have we got more to talk about?
Well, do you want to? We can wrap it up if you want.
Well, I know that a good friend Leisha is coming over.
Oh yeah.
Approximately 1 minute ago. So
okay, we better wrap it up then.
But I've used
plan.
up all my topics.
I had a plan. I was going to play the whole pissing audio
the
thing.
pissing
It was
one.
going to be great. It's going to be hilarious. People would have loved it.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll just have to do it. We'll just have to do it next time I need to piss on the show.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for listening.
It's been wonderful to be back, and we're sorry that it took us quite this long. I'm not sure what happened the last 2 weeks, but I know I was very busy filming last week. But
Well, yeah, we're both very busy at the moment. There's all sorts going on. Heaps of exciting opportunities. A couple of exciting opportunities coming up this week. I've got a couple of exciting meetings this week about the future of one of our projects and about my producing future in general. So it's both quite exciting. One of them's tomorrow, so I'll let you know how that develops. So yes, lots going on and been very busy. But we thank you for your listening, and go to facebook.com/Guy and Harley if you want to keep up with what we're doing.
see you later.
Boom.
Was that an hour and 20 something minutes?
Hour 22, yeah.
Okay, so it was pretty long as it is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I was like, we could go a little bit.
I mean, we could
But-
go longer, but you know what I mean, in the sense that, like, you can't be disappointed as long as we crack an hour.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
Okay.
Nobody will be unhappy with hour
Yeah,
22. Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Oh, for sure. All right, and to our live stream viewers. Yeah, nobody will be unhappy with hour 22. Thank you for tuning in. It might be you still, Sam Grizzle. I don't know. Hope you hit follow on your way out. I think we did get a couple of extra followers, actually, throughout the show, so it was all worth it.
It
2
was
followers.
100% worth the effort of live streaming this.
No, the live stream's actually pretty awesome.
That flashlight's really increased.
No, $5
Oh,
is how much it's got.
Oh, no.
199 is what we're aiming
okay.
for.
It hasn't.
No, yeah. $5 is how many... If you guys would like to donate to the Fleshlights for the Boys up there, you can do so down below. There's a thing that says show us your tips, and you can... it's our Streamlabs account. You can go there and you can donate whatever you want, $1 or whatever, and that little bar up there will fill up, and eventually we'll reach $1.99. Fleshlights for the Boys. But I was actually thinking, Guy...
For the boys.
I swung past Peaches and Cream the other day, the adult store, to have
Yeah.
a look to see how much they were. And I've realised that for $199, we're probably going to have to just have one
Split
which we
it.
kind of keep in the hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just keep it in the cupboard in the hallway.
Give it a rinse.
And yeah, just make sure you give it a rinse afterwards. Because for $199, we're actually only getting one, I think. Those are quite expensive. But yeah, so if you guys would like to contribute to that, you can, down below. And just as we're leaving, Oh no, yeah. Okay, that's it. All right, thank you very much. Good night.